Hello, Dwayne here from 480BC Supplies again. Welcome to part 2 of our LoadMaster setup guide. Obviously, go watch part 1. Come back here. In part 1, we took you through the basic setup of the press, how the press works. Today, we'll look a bit closer to that, and I will set the press up to load some rounds for me. And then we will talk about setting up your primer, feeder, the fine adjustments you have to make as you carry on. Okay, eagle-eyed viewers would probably notice that there's two dies missing here. Now, recently I've started prepping my brass and my cases on the Lee APP press, the automatic processing press. Go check out our videos on that thing is amazing. I use that press to size, decap, primer pocket swage and bulge bust my brass. So all of my cases are prepared already, so I don't need to resize them and I don't need to decap them, so those two dies go out. Now what happens now is that you reset my dies because I've moved my sizing die. So now my factory crimp die acts as the sizing die would at the top of the stroke. So please, if you do that, redo your die settings. Let's have a closer look at the indexing of this press. In part 1, we spoke about the case ejector and a little bent part that it has there. Now that does a very important job with the indexing of this press. If you notice, you have where your case will go in all the 5 different stations, and then just offset from that, there's these holes. Those holes allow that bent part to fit in there and ensure that the shell plate stays in the perfect place when you are indexing or when you are cycling up into the dies. That also stops the press from going backwards in the indexing. Whenever your press is going a bit backwards, when you cycle your press and you notice that your case is going a bit backwards, so anti-clockwise, there's a problem with the index. You have to have a look. If you, first place to start is this little okie here. If you see this is not bent anymore, you can bend it back into shape, but if you get any cracking of the plating, rather replace this okie. It takes a lot of force and they need replacing every now and again. Okay, the next piece of the puzzle to the indexing of this press is this index flipper and index rod and flipper here. In part 1 we spoke about the index flipper. This can be adjusted in or out by simply turning it on the index rod. The further you're going to turn it in, the looser your shell plate is going to become. The further you're going to turn it out, the stiffer your shell plate is going to become. Okay, notice there's almost no play in the shell plate here. That is the preferred way of running this press. Making sure you got no play here. If you find play here, adjust your index rod flipper. I'm going to adjust it now and loosen it up to show you what happens there. Okay, the index rod flipper has been adjusted in now. Have a look at the slop in the shell plate now. That's no good. You don't want that. Okay, so the index flipper has now been adjusted out for a stiffer shell plate. No slop, no movement. This is going to help you with your indexing and it's going to help you with priming. Okay, in part 1 we spoke about setting the index of the carrier. What happens when it goes out and that. Now that you've set it, you've got it where you want it, have a look at the position where my carrier is now. Have a look at the flipper's round part here. If you get it to that position there, say half stroke, you will notice there's only the tiniest of gap there between the flipper and the body. That's where you want it. If this flipper is set too deep in here, this way, it's going to get stuck. If it's set too far out, it's not going to index. So it's a tiny adjustment that you have to make there, and make sure you set the nut at the bottom properly, but do not over tighten it. Okay, so what happens to spent primers in this press? Well, they collect inside the ram. I'm going to take my favorite old school Olight S1 baton and put some light on the situation. If you notice in there, it's a hollow ram. There's the bolt that runs from the bottom to the top that sets the timing of the press. See, it's a long one. Now all your spent primers will collect in the RAM until it's full. I would say about halfway up there, then clean. At the bottom is a little door. You open it while the press is at the bottom of the stroke, and then you can get all the old primers out there. Close the door before you move the RAM again. If you're gonna move the RAM and the door is open, you're gonna snap that door off. So be careful of that. Okay, so first thing we're going to do now is we're going to confirm that our primer system is working perfectly and it's seating the primers to the depth that we want. Remember, when you're seating primers, you don't want them sticking up and you don't want them too deep. They just need to be flush. Okay, so fill a couple of cases, I'd say about 5 cases, just to test in the beginning. To your case feeder, cycle to station 2. Remember, in part 1, we've set the primer actuating bolt. Now we're going to check if that's right, or do we need to adjust it a bit. When we adjust here, remember, tiny movements here, big changes that side. So when I cycle the press primes at the top of the stroke. So if I cycle the press now, you should feel a primer being seated. There should be a tiny bit of resistance there, you could feel it. Now, confirm that there's no play in the rocker arm. I felt the primer being seated. Open up station 2, we take it out and we confirm primer was seated, it's sitting flush, doesn't have any half moons or anything on there. That's a perfectly primed case. But let's check another one. So take the case that you primed, put them one side. So let's check another one. Primed again, I can feel it. Now cycle slowly because this case retainer is open. The case is going to pop out there. That's perfect. And remember, if you short stroke the press, your primer is not going to seat properly. So you have to make sure that you are taking RAM all the way to the top. Perfect. Last one to check. You actually feel that one nicely. Perfect. That's what you want. So our primer system is perfectly set now. So now we go to the next step of check. So one of the things you want to do with these auto volumetric powder dispensers like the Autodisc, the Autodrum, other makes also, is you want to cycle a couple of loads through it just to make sure that it is dispensing the correct charge. These things have cavities in it that needs to be filled up before it will dispense the correct charge. So your powder needs to settle in it first. So what I do is take a case with a spent primer in it and cycle that. Just like that. Open this case container here to make it easier. Check that you're actually getting a powder charge and that your disc is moving as it should. Do that about 5 to 10 times. That will allow the powder to settle in the auto disc, and then you will get proper charges. Then get your scale, calibrate it, and weigh your charges every time before you start reloading. As you continue, you will learn to eyeball the charge, but weigh in the beginning to make sure. Set up your scale, it's calibrated, you've got your tear, start weighing charges. Okay, that gives me what I want. Do that a couple of times just to check. And then another tip, let's just get rid of this powder. If you're using electronic scales, just remember a couple of tips with these things. They don't like overhead fluorescent lights, they don't like Wi-Fi, they don't like your cell phone being close to it. And heavy breathing can actually change the weight on there. There was movement on the scale now. So remember those types of things. What we need to confirm in our final setup check here is to confirm that we are flaring the cases enough to seat a bullet. Now, as explained, I use bullet cork bullets. They come in all different nice colors. And because it's a 356 lead cast bullet that's coated, it needs a bit more flare. You can see that's not enough. it won't sit in there. That's not what you want. So we're going to check our flare. We've set our flare previously. Now we're going to confirm it. And while we do that, we are going to add a powder charge. Felt the resistance there? Take it out of there. Confirm we've got our powder charge. Take your bullet. Perfect. Now, open up station 4. Add it in there. Seat the bullet. Take it out again. Inspect and see if there's no coating has come off this bullet. You don't want any coating of these bullets. For a better explanation on the bullet corp bullets, check our website and our blog. There's a whole reloading guide for bullet corp bullets. Okay, so we are happy with that now. Now we have to measure that. So now confirm your COL. .28, exactly where I want it. That means my die is set up perfectly. I don't have to go change anything here. You are going to find some that's a little bit shorter, some that's a little bit longer, and I'm talking 28.01 and 27.9, things like that. That's because we don't trim our handgun cases. So the brass will stretch over time. But that variance doesn't make any difference. You just have to find the range that works in your gun and stick to that. Notice now I'm doing everything step by step. I primed 4 cases, made sure that's working. I'm now going to seat, charge and seat the rest of the 4 cases I've done. So, and this is just to confirm that everything works as it should. Slowly, because these case retainers are open. Take it out of there. Cycle the press. This is also a nice time to talk about cycling this press and short stroking. Don't short stroke the press. That's how you lose timing, indexing, all those types of things go wrong when you short stroke. Biggest concern is when you short stroke, you forget you've already charged that case and you charge it again. So watch out for things like that. Again, slowly seat the bullet. Last one. And now you'll notice on my press here, I have a little LED light here that I've just taped on here. That's for me to see the actual powder charge in the case. That's very important. Never seat a bullet on an empty case that's got a primer in. That's going to make a squib load. Those things are dangerous. Don't do that. Confirm your powder charge. Even if you've got a bullet feeder on here, confirm the powder charge with your eyes. There's no better tool than your eye. So, and while I'm doing that, I'm also checking that there's no shavings on any of the bullets. Everything is perfect. So now we can confirm the COL on all of them. See, as I said, 28.07, so that's still fine. That is the one. Let's put this one. 28. $27.96. That's fine for me. Okay. Next up, we check the factory crimp out. Cycle it to station 5. Sizing out. Sizing out. Remember the way I set my factory crimp down with the bullet corp bullets is that I add no crimp. So I just post sizing it basically. So if I short stroke the press somewhere in the reloading cycle, that will catch it again and give me a size case again. Okay, so now we've got our 4 rounds that we've tested. That's been through everything in the press. Now let's check if they're going to work in the gun. Case gauge. Perfect. 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 Now my press is set up. So let's load a couple of rounds on the press and you can see how the press functions. We've got a full case feeder. We brought our cases closer and our bullets closer. We've got powder, we got primers. Remember to check your primer system. If it gets too low, refill it. Okay, let's close these. Otherwise we're going to have a mess here. And let's slowly start loading a few rounds. Now, important now on station 2, feel the primer. I can feel the primer. Now, watch here. Okay, we confirm by eye that we have a powder charge and a bullet. Again, we've got a powder charge, we've got a flare and a bullet. There's the first one loaded, primer is flush, everything is fine, there's no coating, stripped or anything on there. So let's carry on. Complete the stroke, do not short stroke the press. And on each one I am eyeballing the powder charge. Sometimes that happens. And again. Happiness. Okay, so I noticed I still have a bit of flex in my bench, so that's something I have to look at. You also heard me say that happens sometimes. Sometimes when a case ejects here from the carrier and falls into this little bucket, they'll bounce in and fall out. Just pick it up. That's one of those things. You could also add a bigger bucket there. I suggest you look at doing something like that, but then just mount it properly. So that's our setup guide for the LoadMaster. If you have any questions or want any more information, just post a comment down below. We'll answer there. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you learned something from this. Thanks again. Bye-bye.